Is everybody ready?
Look at the baby. I miss my Oreo. I'm ready.
Where's Steph?
Oh yeah, are we doing this without Stephanie? Because I'm down.
I'm ready.
You sit up, Mike. Let's go, Steph.
Got dropped.
It's your favorite primas. We're here.
Favorite primas.
It's your favorite prima.
What am I supposed to say?
Passing the mic to the one who's 35 years old and still doesn't have a driver's license.
Hi, everybody. I am Stephanie. I'm actually the reason we're all here today. I am the firstborn cousin for this family. So I'm definitely the leader of the group for sure. So I wanted to just jump on here and just introduce myself. I'm basically a mess of a person. I am always in a rush. I don't know how to chill. I try to get from point A to point B as fast as I can. I don't know why. I just am like in a race with myself all the time. My dad always told everyone this story of how I never really learned how to walk. At 6 months, my first step was a run. And if anyone told me to walk, it looked like I was like going very slow, like trying really hard to walk. So that's where I got my Chucky nickname, aside from being a terror. But yeah, so I want to get right into it. A lot of you guys did send in a lot of questions that I'm going to answer for you guys today. So if my primas and sisters can help me out with that.
All right, I'll start with the first question. What size bra are you?
I get that all the time. That's like the first thing people always notice about me. Yes, I have big boobs. And yes, I'm that typical woman that doesn't even know their bra size. I just like find a cute bra and I'm just like, okay, this seems like it'll fit me. And I'm like, not going to go return it if it doesn't. But I think that the most comfortable is probably definitely like a double D for sure. So there we go.
You a G. Oh, she's a double D. What's your favorite color?
Anything with rhinestones. I mean, if I have to pick a color, pink, but I love anything shiny. I bling out everything all the time. So yeah.
Oh, I like this one. What is your dream vacation?
Anywhere with water on a beach. I feel like I never get to chill. So for me, vacation is literally not doing anything at all. So I would love to be on a beach, margarita in hand, and just relax.
When you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up? Or what do you want to be when you grow up? No.
I'm still not grown up, clearly. Just kidding. Honestly, it's so funny because I actually remember in school, I always wanted to not work. Like I had this idea in my mind that there was actually a job that you could not work and you just somehow have money. So, but I'm living that now because I'm currently not working. So I feel like I'm just fulfilling my dream.
Motivates you.
I would say my mom for sure. Like, I think since I was young, my mom always really made me always feel like I had to be like that strong, independent, like make my own money, be able to take care of myself. So I think that's what kind of motivated me to have success in my life now. But what continues to motivate me now is that I have two daughters, and I feel like I have to pave the way of what good looks like, and not only necessarily making money, because life is just so much more than that. It's about just being a good human being, being kind to others. So that's really what motivates me. It's definitely my mom and then my daughters for sure.
How long is your hair? And how long did it take you to get it that long? It's a lot of longs.
Pretty
That's a lot of long.
Fact about me, that's probably not the best advice. I literally never cut my hair. I don't know when's the last time I have had a haircut. To be honest, I never cut my hair. I don't even think it's that healthy. I think it looks good, but I really don't think it's like that healthy. And it's probably like right maybe at my hip, right above my hips.
What is your favorite podcast to listen to?
My favorite one right now is, I think it's called Dumb Blonde or something. It's with what's her name? Bunny, Jelly Roll's wife. I think she's just so amazing and inspiring because she's someone who literally turned her life
I
around.
have a controversial question for you,
Yes.
and I wonder who sent this in. Who is your favorite sister?
I mean, out of my sisters, I feel like they're so lucky to have me. Like, I'm definitely
Oh.
the favorite sister for sure.
We're gonna get a little deep and talk about Stephanie's relationships. First question is, how did you have the courage to leave your relationship?
I mean, there might be some people that definitely don't know me as personally. No, I was in like a 17-year relationship, and this is the person that I have my children with, which I do have two beautiful daughters. So, that's a great question, especially when you build a whole life with somebody and you think it's going to be forever, and sometimes things just don't work out. So to be honest, it was like years of getting that courage. Like I feel like I was always such like I always say cowardly, but I guess that's just how I felt. Like I felt like I never had the, I guess, courage to end it. Like it was scary. It's scary. It's like sometimes I feel like for the whole time, I always felt like I wanted to put my happiness last if it meant my children were happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that was a huge part of it. And I think I also didn't like value myself in the relationship. I felt like I was very, like, didn't think highly of myself for a long time. And I think I kind of knew it wasn't going to work for a long time. And I always felt like, well, once the girls are older and once they're gone, like, I'll just be on my own at that time. But then I was like, no, like life. And actually, I think my dad also passing away like suddenly actually kicked that more into gear of how short life is. And then I started thinking, like, what are my girls gonna think? You know what I mean? Like, because I think sometimes it didn't really look like I was married or anything like that. And honestly, I was never really married to this person, but I feel like I wasn't leading a good example of what I would want for my daughters.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think one day I just was like, you know what? Like it's gonna be fine. Like I will be okay. And what I started doing is I just started working on myself. Like that's what started my gym journey. But I know I'm not always like the fittest. I always say I'm like that. I'm like a fit fat girl. I know people shouldn't say fat, but like I say it still to myself. I'm like, I'm a fit fat girl. Like I literally keep up with like all the fit people, like at my personal gym workout. But I feel like I don't look like them at all. Mainly because I like tacos. But so I think I just started, like I didn't necessarily end my relationship, but I feel like it took me a lot of courage to realize my life's not over. I don't have to be unhappy. I don't have to be miserable, but I can start learning how to love myself again. So I started going to the gym. I started going and getting massages, facials, taking care of myself. And then little by little, I started getting that confidence of like, I am amazing and I should be happy and I shouldn't go to sleep sad. I shouldn't wake up sad. I shouldn't have to deal with things that make me upset. And it's not just my relationship like with my partner at that time, it was also friendships. It was also a lot of I feel like I was surrounding myself with a lot of bad energy. And I was that type of person, the typical mom, right? Like you're always going to put yourself last and satisfy everybody and do what everyone expects of you and do what everyone wants you to do. And I think it was getting that courage of it's okay if I sit alone. It's okay if I'm by myself, if I'm happy.
Right.
So I think all that stuff made me start realizing I am okay. And I started loving myself so much more. And one day I was like ready to just rip that band-aid and say it out loud. Say like, you know what? I'm not happy. We need to go our separate ways. And that's kind of how it happened. And it definitely was a lot. It was years that it took. I knew for years. I know so many women that are in those situations, especially when you have kids and you have houses and you have RVs and all this stuff together, you know, and your routine. So it is super scary. So
And in the end, you're setting a really good example for your daughters.
yeah, I think I am. Like, I think I'm setting that example, especially because I have like a 15-year-old. So she is aware of relationships, you know what I mean? So I think it's setting of like, you know what, like you shouldn't be with anyone unless they absolutely love and adore you and have your back. And, you know, so that's what I want to make sure everyone deserves that.
Yeah, I think I'm really glad that you got this question because it's something that's difficult, even for short relationships, but you had a situation where there were all these other things, right? And it's like you talking about that it was hard and then it took a long time. I'm sure it helps other people feel better about their situations because it's not simple. It's not an overnight decision
No.
at all.
And then you're like showing your daughters like it's you're never really truly trapped, you know? Like
Yeah.
there's always a way.
Yep.
Here I am at 35, starting all over.
Dang.
By you're 27.
According to Facebook, I'm 29. So
So who is the person who knows you best?
I actually will say um my ex-partner, the father of my girls for sure. And I think that's something a lot of people don't talk about is you lose, especially I feel like a lot of people that knew us closely, like sometimes would always question if we were together because I feel like we genuinely didn't look like it, but we were definitely best friends. So I always like, he's my first call. Always. He always was my first call. Like, he always was that person that like just would make me feel like, okay, it's fine. We're going to be okay. Or like I can just vent to without any, not necessarily judgment, but like I feel like I wouldn't feel uncomfortable saying exactly what went in my head. You know, like, and I feel like not all of us can do that with anybody. But with him, I was able to do that. Like the ugly, the most beautiful words that can possibly come out of my mouth, like I would just say to him. And I think we don't talk about these things enough because that was the hardest and saddest part for me till this day. Like he's still my first call if something happens to me. And I feel like because of like our status right now, I can't necessarily do that. You know, like he necessarily cannot be my first call anymore. And I think sometimes that's super heartbreaking because I feel like I genuinely lost like my best friend for sure. You know, and I feel like I do get emotional talking about that for sure because for me, like I wish I could have always kept him as the best friend, you know? And I hope one day we can get there. And I think for him, probably he can't because, you know, like, you know how it is. Like when you break up, sometimes like you don't want to have anything to do with that other person, especially if you didn't want that,
Right.
you know? So I think that's super hard.
Yeah.
Like to not have someone I can just be so real with. But in a way, like it's a blessing because I feel like that makes me grow.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, that makes me grow and figure out like no one's gonna be here to save you. You know, like you gotta figure that crap out.
Or it's forcing you out of like your comfort
Yeah,
zone, you
like
know?
it forces me to like figure stuff out, grow up, you know, and just kind of be like, okay, no, like this is my shit. Like this is what I wanted, you know? Like so I have to go through that and I have to figure it out. But it is hard for sure. Yeah. Taking applications for new best friends. Just kidding.
What are we, top liver?
Seriously.
I feel like sometimes, honestly, it's
We are.
kind of hard to talk about certain things. Not that it's hard to talk about certain things with your family, but I don't know, like
It is,
sometimes
especially if it's not permanent yet, because you don't want your family to start hating that partner,
exactly.
especially that you're going to be attached to your partner for the rest of your life because of your kids. So
Or
you don't want
sometimes
everybody having bad opinions.
exactly. Or sometimes like you could just be having a moment. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But then they think like all these things. You're like, okay, I was not like, especially me. I feel like I'm very emotional, and I feel like sometimes I lash out, and I'm just like, okay, I was not even that same person. It's just gonna test you that like if my sisters are hurt by someone, like I probably will never speak to them again. Like I'll be like, F that person, I'm gonna beat the crap out. Like I will like go nuts about it, right?
Right.
And like I feel like sometimes maybe they probably cannot come to me like that because they probably feel like, well, I don't want you to hate them. But
Right.
It's hard to vent to family because
yeah,
they
'Cause
don't
they're
get over
always-
it when you
yeah.
do. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
They're
even
always
if
gonna be on your side no matter what. So it's like ride or die.
A good transition, but do you have trust issues now?
Nah, I guess when people say trust issues, I know sometimes we think about like, oh, cheating and all this, which that was never any a factor in our relationship, my last relationship. And I'm not the kind of woman that'll ever like look through someone's phone or like think anything. I feel like I always have trusted partners. But what I feel like I have trust issues with, and I think it could have been from the relationship, and this could be like not even with another like partner, but even people. Like I feel like sometimes I don't trust like when people tell me like, "Oh, you're beautiful," or anything like that. Like I don't know why. Like I for the longest time never saw myself like that. And I feel like when people give me compliments, like I'm always like, no, I'm not. Like, like I'm always like, no, I'm disgusting. Like I always like say stuff like that. And I just don't see myself in that light. But obviously that's just something like I'm working on. So that I feel like that's the only trust issues that I feel like I have is like I don't believe that I'm this beautiful, gorgeous person. Like when people tell me that.
Yeah, I'm glad like your answer went that way because I feel like people think cheating when you think trust issues, but it's so much deeper than that. Like trust goes so deep, it goes way further than betrayal. There's all these other things, right, that make you question.
I feel like I have trust issues in believing anything anyone tells me because I feel like, and it's not just my relationship, my healing journey had a lot to do with even friendships. So I feel like there's even friendships that I had that I felt was very one-sided, that I felt like would be like, oh yeah, I'm here for you, no, 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 no. And I call them for something, nowhere to be found. Or like excuse after excuse after excuse. And I don't necessarily punish people for that, but I just feel like I started taking myself like out of the equation, and I feel like I like just wouldn't go to them anymore. And I wish people well. And I pray that everyone always has a great life and have success and love and happiness and everything. But I just took myself out of that equation. And I feel like that some trust issues is like, I don't ever expect anyone to help me or like take care of me in any way. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes I just don't believe anyone says anything anyone says, period. Like I feel like to me, like actions mean more than anything for me. It's not like what you say you're gonna do for me. It's literally you doing stuff for me or like
Right.
going out of your way for me, right? And if you do, great. If you don't, okay, like I still sleep fine at night, you know what I mean? So I think it's just like those things, and that could have been part of the relationship too. I don't know. But I feel like just throughout my journey, that's just something that was huge. Sometimes strangers can love and help you more than someone you've known for 10 years.
More genuinely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Do you have any deal breakers, friendships and relationships?
not really. I mean, I think relationships, obviously, like I think especially now that I'm older, like if you have any like toxic exes or something that are going to be texting me or something, like I definitely like will immediately not talk to you. I feel like
Run
why
the
are
other
they
way.
so comfortable and confident to like just come at me? Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like definitely not. Which actually that's never ever happened to me, but I guess that I mean, I think throughout my journey I feel like I accept people for who they are, and I feel like no one should have this cookie cutter life. Like not every woman needs to be X, Y, and Z. And live their life a certain way or anything like that, or even men, not every man has to be a certain way. I think I just look into how you treat people. I think that's just like will show you everything. And it's little things like being rude to like waiters or waitresses or at the drive-through fast food or
Seriously.
like just little things like that just tell you so much about a person. You know what I mean? So I feel like to me, kindness in your heart is everything. Like I don't think I'm like that person that even like goes for like looks all the time. Like I feel like I always go for like the funny person that's like gonna make me laugh, which isn't really that hard because I feel like I laugh at everything all the time. But like, but yeah, so I don't think there's really I think that's the only thing that I would like not be okay with is I feel like a toxic ex or a toxic family. That's just like definitely not.
So talking about that, are you ready to start dating?
Not.
So talking about that, are you ready to start dating?
I don't think I'm ever going to be ready, to be honest. I mean, and obviously this could just be what I want to do, but I think like obviously 17 years is a long time to have been in a relationship. And I think right now, like I'm so focused on like building my empire and like this is a new chapter and building my life exactly the way I wanted, right? And I feel like sometimes relationships can kind of get in the way, first of all. Second of all, I feel like my girls like love their dad so much, and I feel like it'll be very, very hard to bring someone else in that mix.
Right.
Like I don't even feel like I would even go out on dates or anything like that. Like obviously I'm human, like I feel like everyone likes to hear great things or someone like reaching out to them or like, make you feel good in a certain way. But I personally don't feel like I will be ready like to move on with someone, honestly, until my girls are like out of the house or so, to be honest.
Are you nervous that it's been 19 years and dating is just so different now? Like when you were dating 17 years ago, there was no cell phones, no Tinder, like none of that. Does that make you super nervous?
First of all, how old do you think I
There
am?
were cell phones,
Because
Val.
there were cell phones, okay, Val?
But not apps. Like we weren't texting as much as we do now. Like was
I
there
think it-
sexting?
no, I
Were you
think it was
sexting 17 years ago?
Well, maybe.
Well, 17 years ago, I was probably only 10. You know what I mean? So
You were 18.
I think it is different now dating. I
absolutely.
would think.
I think
I wouldn't know. But
honestly, I mean,
I would be nervous.
yeah, like I think just from what I've seen, I feel like people just aren't like patient with things. Like I feel like it's like back to back to back, like, oh well, like next to the next, like thank you next kind of a thing. Yeah, definitely. So to be honest, I think like I'm so confident with being alone now that it wouldn't even bother me if I found someone.
Right.
Like I wouldn't force it and be like, oh, I'm gonna ignore all these red flags because I don't want to be alone. I mean, I'm sure at the end of the day, no one wants to be alone, right?
Right.
But like you always kind of want someone, but then you kind of don't, But I feel like no one wants to like grow old alone or anything. But I think like I've fallen in love with being on my own and like pushing myself to be better, that I am okay being alone. Like I would totally be okay. Like I always picture my future and I feel like, oh, my girl's like off to college and like doing their own thing and like me traveling and me going and visiting different people, like family, friends, and just like enjoying life that way, because I feel like kind of as a single mom now, like I am the one that's always with my girls, like most of the time, you know what I mean? Because I am their like their basically their main caregiver that's there with them 24/7. So I feel like I dedicate my life so much to them now that like sometimes I want to be alone. Like sometimes I just want to be like in peace, like by myself, like, so I feel like if it happens, great. And I feel like if I were to introduce someone like, because obviously I don't know what the future holds, it had to be like someone so special that I just cannot like let it go. You know
Right.
what I mean? But I think right now my main focus is just like raising some like badass females and just enjoying life and making memories together. And that's what I want more than anything. And that's where my focus is. So yeah, not really.
so this next question, we go into like kind of your mom question, self-care / self-care. So what's the hardest part of being a single mom?
I've never been alone, never having a break. You know, like sometimes I feel like I can't even like think straight. I always have like this joke that I can't even go to the restroom, and I feel like my children are like pretty grown, like 15 and 7. And literally every time I'm in the restroom, they're like looking for me, or they're like, Mom, do you know where this and that? And I'm like, I'm literally in the restroom. They're like, I just need to ask you something really quick. Like, you know, I think that's just the hard part for sure, is like never having like a moment to yourself, you know?
Where do you get your clothes and your style from?
I mean, I feel like I'm always on the go and I really don't have time to think about it as much. I feel like I wear the same thing all the time. First of all, I'm always in workout clothes for the most part. And to be honest, like I love all my leggings from Lululemon. Like they're my favorite. And I actually go to Arizona a lot and I always buy them from there because they have an outlet and they're like 40, $50 there. Where like at the like main store it's like $120.
Wait, for one?
The leggings.
Lululemon is ridiculous price.
Yeah. So, but I always go and stock up. Sometimes they have some for like $40 there. But I like absolutely like love them. And that's like my splurge to myself. I feel like Lululemon is just my thing for leggings. But honestly, I shop at Target a lot because I'm just there, you know. So I feel like a lot of like my shirts and stuff come from Target. So, but I like everywhere, really. I don't, it's like if I'm in the area and it's just like, oh, this is cute, and I just grab it. So
And I do want to say I'm surprised that you're saying you're mostly, I guess mostly you're in workout clothes, but when you dress up, like you dress up, you put an
Your
outfit
handkerchiefs,
together.
I know.
Yeah, you're like your heels, your little purse.
oh, thank you. I've never considered myself like, but I look nice, you know. It's my trust issues.
I don't believe you. Well, I remember in like when we were in middle school, you made a freaking bandana into a shirt. How with those boobs, I don't know, but
I know. These boobs have just
Pioneer.
been haunting me since I was like young. I feel like I always looked older because of them. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I was like 15, 14, I had like huge boobs. Like I even actually remember that my mom got called into the office and like I was had to have been in middle school. And like it was an older teacher, like in her 80s. And like basically they're like, well, she's not violating dress code, but like her shirts are just so tight. Like they were mad because my shirts were tight because I had boobs. Like it's
Sorry.
so crazy because I think about it now and I'm like, oh my God, like that would never happen now. But like I think it's like, I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously I've always had like I
Wanted
was
you in a new.
I know I was always like that because I was young and I always had big boobs.
but
So I
then
feel
you're
like
small. So it sucks because like then the
Because she's
shirt will
short,
be
yeah.
like super huge
you
on
think I'm
you.
small.
Like
Back
you're
then.
petite, like you're short, you know, and
Definitely
you
not small no more. But I was always a small one because I was like 5, probably like
Yeah.
maybe 5 feet, and I was always like thin. Miss some days, but just kidding. So yeah, like I think I was always like noticeable in that way. So like literally a teacher was like sitting there telling my mom that like if her shirt was even a little bit tighter and all that, I was like, oh my God. Like I was confused because if you think about it, like I never thought I was doing anything wrong. And then that kind
Oh,
of makes you question, like, wait, like, am I not supposed
or
to?
like you're so naive, and then those type
Yes.
of things make you like
Like your self-esteem.
aware of
Yeah.
what these adults are thinking when your mind wasn't even there.
Exactly.
exactly.
Like, and then that probably makes you like ashamed to show your boobs from then on.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
you
mean, I
think-
wasn't trying to show them. I was just wearing clothes.
I know,
you know?
but like aware of what they look
Yeah.
Just
like.
trying to wear a shirt and like
The freaking uniform shirt.
you gave me.
Literally.
You let me know where to shop for big boobs where it won't bother you.
I know, exactly. But I just feel like it's just like big boob thing because I feel like sometimes people with like no boobs can wear like super tight stuff and they look cute and all this, but sometimes when you have like big boobs, you kind of look slutty. Like I always tell people that like there was actually the other day at the gym, there was this girl and she was telling me, she's like, oh my God, like you're so like lucky because you have boobs, like you can wear cute tops. And I'm like, really? I feel the exact opposite about it. Like I feel like if I wear like a V-neck beautiful dress, like if you were to wear it, because she's kind of like flat chested, she's like, if you were to wear it, like you would look classy. Like it would just look so classy on you. I'm like, and I feel like if I wear it, I just look slutty. Like, you know what
That's
I
just
mean?
for sexism. Don't listen to your brain.
Yeah, I know.
That's
But
just
I'm
a
saying
say.
like I think that way, like,
That's how we grew up thinking
like,
that
yeah.
we had to hide our legs, had to hide our boobs, like
Yeah, like I feel like
around men.
yeah, like I feel like Kim Kardashian would be like, oh, she's sexy, and then I feel like Kate Moss or something, it's like she's classy, you know, like with the
Yeah.
same dress. Like that's just
Yeah.
like the concept sometimes, but like
Yep.
yeah, exactly. So, you know.
What do you recommend for somebody barely starting to work out? Like where would they start?
Honestly, I feel like just getting active, you know, like I think especially if you are a mom or someone who doesn't really have time, even if you're going outside and you're going for a quick walk, or like sometimes even like whenever you're at work, like even parking far where you're having to like walk further. Like I think it's little things like that when you can get in, but I actually think it's so important like as a human being, not only just because you want to look good and you want your body to look good, because I think sometimes especially with social media, sometimes we can get very caught up into like I wish I looked like her, why can't my body look like this, so on and so forth. But I feel like dedicating 1 hour a day, like it's literally 1 hour, like 1 hour a day. I'm pretty sure like we probably spend an hour on our phone, literally doing nothing sometimes. And you can be on your phone at the gym. So, but just 1 hour a day, even if it's 3 times a week to start off with, like you do that. And not only are you gonna just, you are gonna feel good. Like sometimes, like I've been doing this thing where I want to run 2 miles a day. The first day that I did it, I literally swore that I looked so much skinnier. Like I even felt like my body, I'm like, oh my God, like I actually feel this and that.
Twerking.
Yeah.
Like
But you
mind
really,
games.
yeah, but you really do think that, even if
Right.
it's not true, right? And I feel like you just start doing that and then mentally you feel good.
Right.
So that's one thing I would say is just freaking do it. Like who cares if you're in a bad mood? Who cares if you had a bad day? Who cares if you'd rather go have a drink like cuz you're so stressed out in your day? Like no, like just go to the gym and just like sweat it out. That's one thing. And the second thing is like don't weigh yourself. Like do not weigh yourself, cuz I think for me I was so, I mean I still kind of am, like sometimes I'm like, "Oh my God, I never," like my sisters can tell you, like I'll always text them like literally I've been the same way for like I'll always like go off and they're probably like don't even know what to tell me. But I would say don't do that because I feel like sometimes it can be very discouraging and then you just want to give up, you know? So I think like stay away like from the scale and don't starve yourself. Like definitely don't starve yourself ever. But I think it's just getting that 1 hour. Like start with 3 times a week. And if you don't make it into the gym, like go outside. But I think it is important, especially as a mom, to take time away from your world. And
Mhm.
mentally, it helps you so much.
I feel like I know you better now. So I feel like even our listeners are like, we love Steph.
I hope so. I hope so.
Can you tell us what we can expect from you on the podcast?
Yeah, I think I would probably bring a lot of, I guess, relationship advice. I think I've been through a lot of different phases in life, especially, you know, obviously I'm like a little bit older. So I think I can definitely give a lot of advice and guidance in all kinds of relationships with your children, with your family, you know, a significant other, things like that. Also, like a work-life balance, because I think I've been through that. I've been at jobs where I'm super dedicated, like, you know, for the first, like when my oldest was younger, I feel like I was always like that workaholic. And then I've also been like the kind of employee that's like, no, I'm putting my family first. So I feel like I kind of know like the good work-life balance and what's really the best thing to be doing. So I feel like I'll bring a lot of that into place. And then also just how to love yourself and how to be the best version of yourself and never comparing yourself to others. And I think that is something that I like am very passionate about and that I will talk so much about. And then I love doing community outreach. And I think that's something I'm gonna be like including in the podcast is a lot of doing things for the community. So one foundation that I am like always is my go-to foundation is going to be the Evelyn Solis Foundation. So me and my sister are actually for Christmas, we actually are sponsoring like 7 kids. So we're going to be, I think on the 23rd, we're going to be giving them gifts. And then we're going to be there. They're going to have like an event of giving gifts and stuff. So if you guys haven't ever heard of that foundation, please go and look for them. Again, it's the Evelyn Solis Foundation. They actually, what they do is they actually have like a home where they actually house a lot of women who need help in like finding jobs, and they kind of guide them. So they like guide them in helping them getting independent. So like helping them interview, helping them dress for an interview, knowing how to open their own bank accounts, and just like a lot of things like that. So they also do like a lot of like Sunday dinners where they'll take volunteers and they will make them dinner and things like that. And it's right next to the Maria Villa Church. So you can always, that's the area that they're out. So anything that you want to do for them. And that's just my way of giving back, because there's actually been women and friends in my life who have inspired me to be better, right? And to like help each other out. So I feel like that's just my way of always helping them out and helping other women out. And I feel like it's like a domino effect. Like those women actually helped. There was women that actually helped me be more independent and, knowing that I'm okay and being alone. And I feel like I've helped women do that same thing. So I feel like then that woman's going to help someone. So it's just like a domino effect. So whenever you can, like always give back. So that's what I'm passionate about for sure. So our next episode actually will be my beautiful Gemini sister, VIV, Vivian.
Vivian in the house.
So if you haven't already, submit her some questions on our social media at the Prima Tapes. So on Instagram, that's going to be our Instagram name. You can submit her some questions. Don't be afraid to ask her, because sometimes she isn't the most personal, I feel like, with us. So I've been submitting like tons of questions that I need to know.
Oh my God, they're all free. Well, join us next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.